Good day, this is Ray. Today is Wednesday, May 7th, 2025 for me. Another day of filling medications. Hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well and staying safe. So I have a bit of a cough today. Not feeling all too well. I am coming down with something. I think part of the reason why I'm coming down with something is because this past weekend I went to funeral services of my mentor friend and ended up driving a total of 12 hours round trip, roughly. There was a lot of rain and fog, and on Saturday morning at I think it was like 3:30 a.m. I got up and hit the road. It was great services. A lot of people showed up. Saw some people I hadn't seen in a long time. Was was weird for me is that I'm not accustomed to being around a lot of people anymore. Excuse me. So I felt like I was just what's the saying? A wallflower. Somebody just there, and I greeted a few people, and then I was there for the services, and it was very powerful. You know, but I just felt like I was in a way an outsider, but that wasn't the reason for me being there. I wanted to be there to support the family and to be there for him because he was there for me when I was starting off in a different department for my company. So I am a little bit beat up from that drive. It was the longest I've driven in since 2019. And I think this weekend I'm going to talk about that if I'm feeling up to it. 2019 was the year I was diagnosed with lupus in May, to be specific. So it's been 6 years since that diagnosis, and like I said, I will talk about it more. But um, currently, I'm in some pain. I think my elbows in particular are hurting. I hadn't even changed out of my work clothes yet because I'm going to save that energy for when I'm about to go to bed. I'm going to be going into the office a little bit more going forward, so I have to get used to that. My medical accommodation ended at the end of April, so I'm just going to have to switch up some things how I've been doing things, and when it comes to having clothes ready for the next day, packing lunches for those days, and seeing how I'm feeling getting up and down, and walk around as much as I'm going to have to this week. I've been in the office now only 2 days. Tomorrow will be the third, and then I'm gonna work from home on Friday. But it's not like I didn't work my career in the office. I have no problem with that. It's just this will be the first time I want to say since 2020 that I've worked multiple days in the office, which is amazing. I mean, even in 2020, it was only briefly because that's when we went on lockdown, and so I forget exactly when my medical accommodation started, but I've only been working 2 days in the office. Now it's going to be 4 days, and just something to get accustomed to. And I'm like anything, I adjust, I adapt, and I just try to do the best that I can. So anyway, thinking back to the funeral this weekend. So on the drive down, I was really just thinking about my experience with him and how dynamic a leader he was, and the impact that he had on me because he really, you know, um, when I was around him, it gave me a lot of confidence that I didn't have. And, he really believed in the work that I could do. And a lot of things I didn't believe I was capable of doing. But, he gave me the room to succeed. And I ended up going into management in large part because of working around him and seeing his habits. There were a few people at the service that I, physically hugged and talked with, but I was really nervous actually being in such a large gathering because I hadn't done it in quite some time. And in my past, I was a jazz musician and would be in large gatherings all the time. Relatively speaking, for jazz, I was more comfortable around people. Let's just put it that way. Now I'm completely different, just isolated, and really have a hard time opening up to people anymore. And that's definitely something I need to work on. I'm fortunate to have the years on this earth that I've had, considering that back in 2019, I didn't think I was going to even make it that year. More about that this weekend when I record my video. May is a big month for me. It's when I learned how to budget, and when I was diagnosed with lupus, and when I stepped back from a management role. But I'm giving away I'm giving away my weekend video right now when I shouldn't be doing that. So I'm sorry. Went to the services, and the father of my friend and mentor is a pastor, and he gave a sermon at his son's memorial. I don't know what type of strength that takes, but it just truly impressed me of that type of strength that he displayed. And I'm not sure if I have that in me to be able to do what he did. I have a hard time just talking to two people, let alone doing what he did. But it was such a powerful sermon, and the choir was awesome. His friends shared memories of him. There's no way I could have got up and spoke at his funeral. I just remember all the great times I had with him, and he treated me like one of his family. And fortunately, he was younger than me, and I have lost friends that were younger than me. As a matter of fact, now I'm thinking about it. When I was in a band, there was a drummer I played with. We shared the same last name, but he's a different complexion. He passed away, and we were very close. All the evenings that we would be playing concerts and making each other laugh, just being ourselves. Thinking about him and thinking about my friend and mentor that just passed. There was a lot that they imparted on me that I'll never forget. And this weekend made me realize another thing is that in the scheme of things, life is short. Whether you're on the earth for a few years or for 100 years, life goes by fast. I would never even imagine myself being in my 40s and worrying about paying a mortgage, having medical debt, and filling prescriptions like I'm doing right now. And now having a notebook of obituaries, people that have close to me that have passed. Yeah, I think it's hard for the survivors, the people who are left behind, to grieve, or mourn, and to really, celebrate the person's life that has passed on. One of the things I did a few years ago was I had my will done, and I realized the importance, because of the industry that I work in. I realized the importance of having a will, and the attorney said not a lot of people at my age have a will. And I said, well, I'm not surprised, because it's not something that people talk about. People are afraid to talk about the end. And, I'm not, because of the industry that I work in. I just put it at that. So, not sure what the purpose of this video is. I just wanted to check in, let you know that I'm okay. And that, surprisingly, I hadn't coughed as much as I thought I would, because I've been coughing all day. But maybe just, yeah, just like that. Maybe just talking through it might help, because this is the most I've talked throughout the day. Anyway, if you've lost loved ones, or, which, I imagine if you're watching this, you probably have, know that, you're not alone, and that we all experience this type of pain, and that with mercy and grace that we can endure and get through it. Not sure how to wrap up this video. Yeah, not sure how to wrap up this video, but I gotta stop because I'm about to have a coughing fit. But if you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Post my videos. You can find me at youtube.com/@NotInMyBudget. As always, thank you for watching. You all take care.